Hello, and today we're going to cover a Module 6, the end of Module Project 1. It's also called Murray Medical. So Module 6, end of Module Project 1. So you're going to download the file like you're supposed to. And once you've downloaded the file, make sure you download the directions or print the directions so that you're able to complete the steps. Okay, so step number 1. Bao Young is the sales manager for Murray Medical, a medical device manufacturer with headquarters in Morristown, New Jersey. Bao is analyzing the performance of an account representatives and the sales of the company's medical devices. She asks you for help in using the Excel tables to complete the analysis. So it wants us to go to the account representatives worksheet, which lists details about Murray Medical account representatives, their clients, sales, and evaluations. Wants us to format the completed account representatives data, A10 to I-29, as a table with headers using dark green table style medium 3. So we're going to format as a table, and then we're going to use dark green medium style 3. It's going to ask me where my table is and if my table has headers, and we're going to say yes. And then it wants us to use summarize and filter the data, so she can summarize and filter the data. Use account reps is the name of the table. So with my table still selected, I'm going to go over here, and in the name box I can type in the name, or for my purposes I want to go ahead and click on formulas and define name, or no, create from selection, and the names are here. That's my rows have headers. Okay. No, I'm sorry, I do not want to do it that way. Let's go ahead and just type in the name here. And hit enter. And it should be the name account reps now. Okay, number 2. I run into an error on sometimes with the statistics here when I do the naming. So I was trying to name it a different way. So we'll see how this works out on this particular assignment. Sort the account reps table first in ascending order by the name of the account rep, and then in descending order by the total sales, so that Bao can quickly identify the top sellers for each rep. This is step 2. So first we're going to go to our data, and we're going to click on our sort button. And then first it wants us to sort by account rep in descending order. Account rep in descending order, so A to Z, and then or in ascending order, and then it wants us to go ahead and add another level, and then it wants us to Bao wants us to do the total sales in descending order, so total sales in descending order, so largest to smallest, descending. Okay, and then click OK, and then that automatically sorts for us. Step number 3. Each account rep is assigned to a tier, which determines whether they receive a salary bonus. Bao wants to list the tier for each account rep according to the bonus tiers data in the range K5 to L9. So in H11, right here, enter a formula using the VLOOKUP function. So equals VLOOKUP. I'm going to double click it here. And then now our range. Use a structured reference in the eValue score G11 as the lookup value. So we already know G11 is our lookup value. So I'm just going to click on that. And then it says to use absolute cell references to the bonus tiers data. So that's going to be our table array. So I'm going to type in comma. And then we're going to do our table array, which is K6 to L9. K6 to L9. So it's going to look up those to tell the tiers. Now it says to use absolute references because when we copy this down, we don't want this to shift down as well. So we're going to click on the K6 and hit the F4 key on the computer keyboard. Or if you don't have a F4 key, you can also type in the dollar signs. And then the L9, I'm also going to hit the F4 button, and it's going to change that to an absolute reference, $L, $9. Okay, so that's our table array. And then I'm going to hit the comma button to go to our column index number. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. $L, $9. There we go. There's the comma button. And apparently I'm getting a lot of emails this morning. Okay, so L9, and it's our table array. Now our tier column is going to be column 2 as our index number because we're going to look on column 2 and report this, bronze, silver, gold, or platinum based on the scores. So we're going to put column number 2. And we do not need any other, we don't need a range lookup. So we're going to click on the close parentheses and then hit enter, and it should auto-fill down. If it doesn't, you just select the first one and use your fill handle and pull it down. Okay, that takes care of step number 3. Step number 4 says Murray Medical awards a bonus of 5% to account reps who earn a platinum tier rating from their clients. In cell I11, enter a formula using the if function and structured references that test whether the value in the tier field is equal to platinum. If it is, multiply the value to the total sales field by 0.05. Otherwise, enter 0 because they don't get the bonus. So let's do that. All right, so in cell I11, we're going to determine whether or not this person gets a bonus. So we're going to type in if equals if. I'm going to double click the if function. And then our logical test is if the tier field is equal to platinum. So I'm going to click on the tier field and equal to quotes platinum. Make sure you spell this correctly. Platinum, close quotes. So that is our logical test if it equals to platinum, and then if it's true, we want to give them a bonus based on their total sales. So we're going to click on the total sales and then times 0.05. And otherwise they get 0. So if it's false, if it's not, if they don't have platinum, then they're not getting a bonus. Okay, and then hit enter. All right, and that gets our rep bonuses. It should auto-fill down. Okay, step number 5. Bao asks you to identify the account reps with high, average, and low evaluation scores in the evals column. Ranges G11 to G29. So we're going to put in a conditional format here to create a new icon set rule using the 3-star icons. Edit the rule to display a shaded star in cells with a number value. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that part. So home, conditional formatting, I've already selected my cells, and that was G11 to G29. Conditional format, I'm going to click on new rule. I'm going to do the format style drop down. It's icons. Do drop down again. We're going to click on the stars. You might have to scroll down to find them, but they're 3 stars. And then we're going to change the type to number because we're using a number rating, not a percent rating. And then we're going to get rid of the 0 if it's greater than or equal to, and then we have our rules here on the second page. It says if it's greater than equal to 8, we're going to get a shaded full star. If they get a half star, it's greater than or equal to 6. And anything lower than that is lower than a 6 is going to be a white star. And we'll click on OK. And then there's our star ratings. All right, and step number 8 in cell 07 right here. Oh, I'm sorry, I did skip something. And let's see here, number 6. Step number 6, add a total row. So I'm going to click anywhere in my table. I'm going to go over here to my Table Design tab, and then I'm going to click on Total Row. It's going to add a total in, so we have total of wrap bonuses, but it wants us to do some other things too. It wants us to use a total row to display the count of client names. So here's our client names. I'm going to click on this cell, do the drop down, and it wants to count. So we have 19 clients. Sum of total sales. So our total sales, we want to find out where our grand total is, the sum. 1,731,570. And the average eval scores. So I'm going to click on the eval scores, drop down, and find out what the average score is, and it's a 7.1. Okay, now step number 7. In the range N6 to 08, which is right here, N6 to 08, enter a formula, or Val wants to list key findings from data in the account reps table. So in 06, which is right here, enter a formula using the average function to average the sales of the Destra medical device. Use the range as a reference to account table, range A10 to I29 as the database, total sales as the field, and the range Q5 to Q6 as the criteria. So let's put in our equal sign, type in D average. I'm going to double click it to put the rest of it in. And our database, it tells us to use E11 to E29, E11 to E29. I'm typing it in as opposed to clicking and dragging, because when I did this earlier, it counted it wrong because it was using a structured reference instead of the actual cell references. So type this part in. And then our criteria is Q6. So our database, hold on, let me look at this. I keep skipping lines on the screen here. Okay, this is incorrect. I'm skipping down to step number 8 on accident. I need to keep my finger on the right step. Okay, so we're doing average Destra cells. So same thing, except this time the range is A10 to I29, A10 to I29. Same thing, type it in, because when it grades it, it looks at it and so it sees structured reference. Okay, table cells, or total cells is the field. So total cells. Don't forget your quotes. And then the criteria is Q5 and Q6. So it's going to look in Q5 and Q6, which is hidden underneath our formula, but it's saying device and Dijkstra. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then hit enter, and it's going to get our Destra, and it's going to give us our result of the cells. And again, you can check the answer key to make sure. Okay, now finally, we're on number 8 that I keep skipping down to. So in cell 07, enter a formula using the SUMIF function that totals the cells for the Destra medical device. Use a range reference to the device values, range E11 to E29 as the range, cell C, or Q6 as the criteria, and a range reference to the total cells values, which is range F11 to F29 as the sum range. Okay, so let's start typing it in. Equals SUMIF. Our range is E11 to E29. That's where the devices are located at. And Q6 is going to be our criteria if it's Destra. And then we're going to sum F11 to F29, because that's where our cells are at. F11 to F29. And then close the parentheses. And enter. And then our Desta reps, step number 9 in OA, enter a formula using the COUNTIF function that counts the number of Desta devices using a structured reference to the device column, a count reps device. Mine normally says table 1 device as a range, and cell Q6 is a criteria. So we're going to type in equals COUNTIF. In our range is going to be the table. So this time we're going to click on the table and drag. That's not correct. Let's try clicking this first. Device. And then comma and Q6. And close parentheses. That is not right. Okay. So what I did is I select the whole entire table, and that used our structured reference and then Q6. And may count it wrong. I might have to go back and fix that. If I do, I'll put a little amendment to the video. Okay, Bao wants to identify clients in the Southeast with total sales of 100,000 or more, and then list them in a separate part of the worksheet. In cell D6, enter criteria to select the clients in the SE area, or the Southeast area. In cell F6, enter a criterion to select the total sales greater than or equal to 100,000. Create an advanced filter using the data in the count reps table. Range A10 to I29 is a list range. Use the range A5 to I6 as a criteria range. Copy the results to another location, starting in ranges A34 to I34. Okay, lots of steps, so let's start with the beginning. All right, Val wants to identify clients in the Southeast with total sales of 100,000 or more. Okay, so we're going to use our criteria range, and it's already been developed for us. So our total sales are going to be greater than or equal to 100,000. So put greater than or equal to 100,000. 100,000. Okay, and then list them in a separate part of the worksheet. And so D6, enter a criterion to select the clients in the Southeast area. Right here, Southeast, capital S, capital E. So we've done those two steps. Now create an advanced filter using the data in the count reps table. Ranges A10 to I29 as a list range. So I'm going to click on a table. Data. There we go. An advanced filter. Okay, so we're going to use A10 to I29. It doesn't really matter if you change this or not because it's just that total row. So A10 to I29. And then use the range A5 to I6 as our range. A5 to I6. A5 colon I6. What? Criteria range. A5 colon I6. And then it wants us to copy the results to another location. So we'll click the radio button and then copy to, and it wants A34 to I34. A34 to, well, I see what I'm doing. I'm hitting the control button on accident. I34. Okay, so that's our criteria range, our list range, and then it should put the answers down here at the bottom for us. I didn't put a criteria in there. Undo. Undo it. See, I typed in something wrong here. There it is. A5 to I6. Make sure everything else is right. Everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. Still doesn't look right. Bal wants to identify clients in the Southeast with a total of $100,000 or more. That's not grabbing them. And so F6 and criteria greater than or equal to, and it should be the Southeast. And we're pulling out more people than just Southeast. So something is not right. So let's click on advanced. Let me do it this way. The list range. Oh, I did the filter list wrong. Okay, the second time I did it the wrong way. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see if we can fix this. So I'm going to copy to another location, which I didn't do. Our list range is going to be here. Okay, that's correct, even though it's the 29 or 30. Our criteria range should be here. And then copy to, I'll just click here. And then, okay. There, that's the correct answer. Sorry about that. Must be too early in the morning for me. Okay, as a contrast, Bao wants to list all the clients in other parts of the country in the account reps table. Display the filter arrow and then filter the table to display all clients except those in the Southeast. Okay, so we have the Southeast listed down here, and what Bao wants to do is put everybody other than the Southeast here. So I'm going to click on my filter button, and then I'm going to click on area, and I'm going to uncheck the Southeast so it shows everybody but Southeast, and then click OK, and it presents them there. Okay, step number 12. Go to the devices worksheet, and which includes a table named devices that lists details about medical monitoring equipment, Murray Medical Sales. Clear the filter from the table to display the data. So I have a little filter here. Remember I told you filters look like a little funnel. So click on that and clear the filter. Another way you could do it is up here. Sometimes it allows you to, sometimes it does not. That's why I like clicking on these. And we've cleared it. So display the table currently sorted by release date, but Bao prefers to list the device names in alphabetical order. Sort the devices in ascending by device name. So we're going to go to device name, and it wants us to sort it alphabetically. So now we've got that done. Step number 14, Bao wants to format the devices table to match the account reps table and display the full text of the table headers. Apply a dark green table style 3 to the devices table. So we're going to select the devices table. We're going to go to our home page tab. Actually, let me do this. Let's just go to our table design. We could go to format as a table, but let's just go to table design. Change our style. Okay, and it was dark green table style medium 3. That's the correct one. So we click on it and we're done. And then in D4, it wants us to wrap the text. So home tab, wrap text. And if we were doing this on our own, we would make sure anything else needed wrap text. But the directions tell us the only one that needed wrapped. Okay, now on step number 15, the devices table is missing one device that Murray Medical sells. Add a record to the end of the table containing the data shown in table 1. So let's type that in. VI-2550 tab, and then Vivo III, and then vital signs monitor. I don't have to type this whole thing in. And then the release date is going to be 10/17/2020. Unit cost is $1,386. And unit price is 1,500. Okay. And it automatically does those last two cells because they're calculated cells. Okay, your worksheet should look like the final figures in the following pages. So I'm going to get to